Hello, my YouTube friends. Welcome to video number 3 of my New Moon to New Moon challenge to make a video every day from what was the October new moon to what will be the November new moon. And this is me trying to sort of kickstart more of a consistent habit with making videos. And just like last night, I've gotten all the way through the day and it's late at night. And so I'm making this video to keep this promise to myself. And I thought I would take the opportunity to go through a book that I've been meaning to show you guys for some time. This beautiful coffee table book that I got from Thrift Books a few months ago when I was in a complete buying frenzy. But I found this, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even $12. It was 11 something. And it's this lovely book from the Prado Museum. Well, it's the Great Museums of the World. This must be a series, and this one happens to be about the Prado. And I had the very good fortune to go to the Prado Museum when I was 20 years old in the summer of 1990. I did a European trip with my best friend at the time, and we went to the Prado Museum in what must have been like my second or third day in Europe because we started in Madrid. And I remember being in the museum completely overwhelmed by everything. I was a really sheltered kid. And so even at 20, I was still very young. And I was very overcome with all the difference and newness being in the Prado Museum. It was really hot when we were there. It was summertime, but I think it was a really hot summer. And I imagine it was probably about June 6th or 7th, and I have such a vivid memory of standing in the Prado looking at this painting by Diego Velázquez de Silva. The name of the painting, let me go over here to the description and then I'll switch back to the painting every once in a while. Diego Velázquez de Silva. This is the royal family, Las Meninas, or the Maids of Honor. Sorry for being shaky holding the camera from 1656. Like, I don't think I knew that when I was looking at this picture. Restored in 1735. Painting underwent modifications during execution as shown by X-ray, which I think is really interesting. Velasquez is seen, sorry for being shaky. Velasquez is seen painting the portraits of Philip of the Fourth and Queen Mariana, who are reflected in the mirror in the presence of the Infanta Doña Margarita, two maids of honor, two attendants, two dwarfs, and the marshal of the palace at the door in the background. All the figures have been identified by name. So here, let's take a look over here. Here's Diego Velázquez painting. Here is King Philip IV and Queen Mariana in the mirror. I know this lighting is crappy. I'm sorry, but I'm making this video late and I'm sitting in my bed. And this is, who is he? The marshal of the palace at the door in the background. And there's more about this painting, more detail or more description and interesting. But isn't that interesting to see the painter? I think that's so cool. And I just have such this really like visceral memory of standing and staring at this painting. And there's a lot that I don't remember about that trip. First of all, of course, now it's a lot of years ago. But my being overwhelmed contributed to my inability to like kind of like focus on stuff. But I so remember standing and looking at this painting. And I remember when we got to the Prado Museum, there were these young guys out front, and they turned out to be our exact same age on an identical, basically, trip. They were selling T-shirts, and they were from a rival high school of ours, which is so crazy to go all that way to meet boys who had gone to school like 20 miles from our high school. And so when I saw this book on Thrift Books, I just had to get it. And I mean, for $11, who'd pass that up? And it's one of my cherished coffee table books now. I've had some great coffee table books in my life, and I've moved so much that a lot of them are gone now. But anyway, that was a good find, and I will share more pictures, more paintings from that book with you in future videos. Now, I'm going to get to reading The Weaver and the Witch Queen, which is the book that I am currently reading in my evening reads and I'm loving, and I talked about in my last couple of videos. So I'll just let you know that I'm Was not able to find an extra pocket of time. Well, maybe I could have, but the pattern of making these videos and finding these extra 10 minutes in my day to read at a time when I normally would have is not occurring to me yet. So, thus, I find myself here at night in bed making a video and getting ready to, I hope, read at least an extra 10 minutes tonight before I fall asleep of this great book and get myself in the habit and stay committed to making a video a day until the next new moon, and then we'll see what that helps grow for my channel, for me personally, getting in the habit and being consistent and disciplined, which I'm not the most disciplined person, so hopefully this develops that a little bit more. All right, my friends, thanks for sticking in with me. If you're returning, thank you so much for being back with me. This is your first video. Well, they're not all going to be this weird and shaky. But let's see if I can stay committed to making these videos on a daily basis. All right, my friends, good night. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.